requested from the minister a meeting with the teachers of the St. Martin Vocational. This meeting was granted on November the 13th because the letter that the Windward Islands Teachers Union sent with the request on behalf of the teachers was also requested for the meeting to be held by Tuesday the 13th. But however, the invitation for the meeting on the 13th came from the department DPE, which is the Department of Public Education. So when that invitation came, I make sure contacted the cabinet of the minister in the form of Mr. Peter J. Gittens, and I asked if that is the same meeting which was requested for the minister to be there to meet with the staff. He confirmed to me, yes, the minister would have been in that meeting, but I have to inform you that due to the reports of the weather, the meeting would be postponed, would be cancelled, and it will be called on a later date. So the later date was yesterday, Wednesday, November 21st at 4 p.m. in the government building, the 3rd floor. What I did to be able to have an effective meeting, I requested the teachers at the St. Martin Vocational School to compile the points, and in a follow-up meeting, I discussed with them, and I would have been the spokesperson to bring over these points, and then after that, they would be able to add. So with reference to that, the majority of the teachers of the staff of the St. Martin Vocational School brought forward their points, and that was placed in 3 categories: educational, institutional category, infrastructural, and a human-related category. And these categories have their points to them. When I got to the meeting, to my surprise, when the minister came in, after introducing his cabinet and introducing the Department of DPE, which is head, and the 2 human resources, and also introducing the inspectorate and introducing the director of the St. Martin Vocational Training School with the adjunct director, the minister turned to me as president of the Windward Islands Teachers Union, sitting there in the front row in the corner, and asked me in which capacity I was in that meeting. Of course, my response to the minister was, the only capacity that I could be in this meeting is as president of the Windward Islands Teachers Union, representing the teachers. He then continued to explain that he is a school board, and as school board, they would like to have the direct contact with the teachers. They are the employer of the teachers. They would like to have the direct contact with the teachers. I disagreed with the minister because, representing the teachers, I am the voice of the teachers. I did not have the article at hand, but there is an article in the code, in the LMR, that is giving the teachers as civil servants the rights to, when they are in a meeting with their employer, that they can bring, whether they want a lawyer, a legal mind, and they can bring their representative. When I explain the rights that I am there as then I got the chef of the cabinet of the minister jumping off the chair and letting me to know that I am in this meeting in the capacity, limited capacity, so I have no speaking rights in that meeting. And I'm in that meeting in a limited capacity. The chef of the cabinet of the minister continued to violate the rights of the workers. I don't know if the chef knows, but he came in as part of a cabinet that as soon as the government fall, he is out. But the teachers, as civil servants that were sworn in under oath in the time of Minister Sylvaria Jacobs, the teachers were sworn in as civil servants, as all other civil servants in the government building under their oath, and therefore they have the rights to their representation. So that was one of the first violations. At a given moment when this discussion took on the mode of back and forth and not getting to this, teachers indicated that they wanted their representative, which is the Y2, to table the points, and then they would expand. And once the discussion, and I saw it was leading nowhere, I asked for a timeout of a few minutes, and I moved, and a few of the teachers moved with me to the corridor for me to explain the teachers then, your employer would like to have a one-on-one with you. I am not going to be insulted and sit in this meeting with a ziplock on my mouth. Then I'm in the wrong meeting, because the minister made it emphatically clear that if the union is representing them, then it means that he wouldn't have to have a meeting with them. He could have just met with the union and that was it. He didn't hear the concerns, but he wants to have it with them. That was a strategy to actually, deviate, divide and rule with the teachers. But in my opinion, as a legal body, then I was at the wrong meeting. So a number of teachers at that time outside expressed to me that they would not be interested in that meeting, and when I leave, they would leave. And I asked them not to, because I was not at that moment in an action against no one. Probably DPE came prepared because I heard under the pergola that they were going to kick me out of the meeting. Nobody. I can excuse myself because I'm the legal representative, and there are more ways to skin a cat. So to show that I am the legal representative of the teachers, I have other tools and means of actions that I can take as a union. I don't have to be in a confrontation neither with the minister cabinet, the DPE. I and my teachers have rights, and their rights have been violated, and I can show that. And there are different entities that I can approach to make sure that this would never repeat again.
We having a function this Christmas season, boy. Festival Village, 8 p.m. December 8th. Come win prizes with family and friends. You don't want to miss this, seeing that it is time for Wally Hamilton Christmas Bingo Spectacular. Festival Village on December the 8th. $10 for you to play, starts 8, so don't be late. Festival Village on December the 8th. Ham and turkey, airline tickets, hotel stays, Christmas goodies, Santa's bag with more to win. Time for Wally Hamilton Christmas Bingo Spectacular. Festival Village on December the 8th. $10 for you to play, starts 8, so don't be late. Festival Village on December the 8th. Yes, folks, the Lion Wally Hamilton Christmas Bingo Spectacular is on Saturday, December the 8th at the Festival Village. Tickets are available at the Lion's Den, at Van Dorp, at Big D Photo Studio, and from all Lion members, going at only $10, $20, or €10. So folks, get your tickets in time. It's going to be quite a spectacular bingo. Anybody bingo? Nobody bingo.
SXM, connecting you.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Minister of VSA, the announcement of the reopening of Carrefour recently. Seemingly, there has been widespread speculation as to the goods that they're selling. In fact, my newsroom has received several calls basically saying that they are involved in selling expired goods, spoiled salads, and canned food. First of all, what sort of inspection was done at Carrefour prior to opening? One. Following,
Mr. Cerulean, I can only allow one. I can only allow one question as we are pressed for time. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry, we're not allowed to transfer questions either.
Thank you, Stephen. I did notice on Facebook that there was a post about some chocolate, I think it was, that was had an expired date and I think was spoiled. I actually did contact Carrefour myself, and they said, look, they did have one box of goods that was sent by the company that had an expiration date that was overdue. They had missed it, and they've adjusted that. In terms of inspections, the inspection department's been working closely with Carrefour from the time of the fire, because actually, as Carrefour had explained to me, actually, a fire is much more complicated in a sense than the hurricane damage, because from the fire you have smoke which penetrates into all types of crevices in the facility. So from the very beginning, there's been a very keen attention paid to how the rebuilding process has gone. I think regarding the salads, as a matter of fact, one of the cabinet members reminded me, and I should have mentioned that I did see that there's in general in the U.S. a total recall for romaine lettuce. So in other words, they're saying any romaine lettuce, discard it. So whether it's old, if it's old, even wash the cabinet. They've had issues, I guess, with E. coli. So I don't know if that's related to the salad issue you're talking about. I suspect that that's related to that topic.
And just to add on, in regards to the Ministry of TIAT and our controls by the Control and Inspection Department, in particular with Carrefour as well as other supermarkets and restaurants, all of those areas have been controlled by our Calibration Department in reference to the controls being taken place in regards of scales and weights. So we have been actively involved in ensuring that that has been done, and in particular inspections were done in that regard at Carrefour before it opened recently.
Project would not have been possible, and St. Martin Development Fund is not an institution that stands on its own without the excellent work executed by the technical supervisor of the project, Engineer Joseph Dollison, by coincidence. Engineer Dollison is here, and he has, from the time he started in March of 2017, been a driving motor. He knows everyone in the community. He knows every corner of the community, not only Dollison Drive. And I want to thank especially also the contractor who built this home, Hidalgo Construction. He's here this afternoon. He did an exceptionally good job in a very short period of time.
you've been praised for the actual work as you've been playing a major role in the rebuilding process coming from the St. Martin Development Funds. You have been through various districts and still probably pinpointing as to what is needed to be done. Are you satisfied in the manner in which things are running?
Not quite. Look, the problem we have here is
I think you should go upstairs.
most of the homes in St. Martin prior to the 70s were self-built homes. Also people with jollification homes. And they took the brunt of the storm because they were not properly built. And all of the faults was exposed during Hurricane Irma. Therefore, that's why you see so many homes, not only the roof has gone, but the entire house sometimes gone, or down to the very foundation sometimes. That's why most of the houses that we had to rebuild, we started from the foundation to the roof completely in order to give a more satisfactory feeling that the following storm, we can still survive without any problems. I was hoping there's a 90% survival without any storm.
What would be your advice, Mr. Donaldson? After all, you were over for a number of years. You're an engineer, you're a person. What would be your advice to government in particular to ensure that we build better than the previous call that we had been following?
No, look, the government can do so much and no more. The biggest headache on St. Martin is everybody wants to build a house of $250,000 and they leave it up to the contractor to do it. They don't hire somebody to supervise for them. They cut costs in that manner and that comes back to bite many people because, again, a contractor is a contractor. You're not saying that they will do bad work, but they will take shortcuts sometimes. So my advice to the general public is when you are building a home, look for someone to supervise the home, supervise the contractor and make sure that what is done proper. As far as government, I was there and I know that inspectors, there are so many inspectors that have to do all the work on the island. And they can't be all over at the same time. So, and also when they come and they stop a construction, many people get angry with that because they think, well, you're stopping me. No, the inspectors are working on your behalf. You should be the homeowner should be the person who hires someone to work for them. And when the inspector comes along, make sure that he sees everything. And when he says something, he's talking on your behalf, not on behalf of the contractor. So when the contractor tries to play it around, no, the inspectors are working on your behalf because they want to make sure what is built is built properly.
Hey ma, how you doing? You busy?
I hear, just paying some bills, taking care of business, you know what it is?
I know, you're doing your online banking.
I don't have to stand in those long lines to pay bills. I can transfer when I want. I can check my account wherever. It's like the bank open 24/7. I even here checking the statement right now as we're talking. How's Miami?
Well, that's why I'm calling. I'm finishing up a few songs now, but I'm afraid that studio time might be more than I thought. And I was wondering if I could get some help with some funds, and I could pay you back as soon as I get back to St. Martin.
Let me check my account. How much you need?
I think 500 should be enough.
I can transfer it to you while online. Direct from me to you. No problem.
Great. Thank you so much, Ma. I'll get online with Bib now.
Alright, You know who you're for?
I need to know who you're for.
Contact Web today for your complete personal online banking experience. Available for all mobile devices, the Wynwood Islands Bank, now your online banking partner in progress.
Who you're for.
The status of the current bondholders, the current liquidity and shortfall of the airport, and current and future cost-cutting measures that we are considering in order to be able to meet our financial obligations. Let me start off by saying that on October 18th, a stakeholder meeting was held with government, the World Bank, PJIENV, Dutch representatives, and the European Investment Bank. During these meetings, there were three options presented to the airport by the World Bank. After some deliberation and conversations, a choice was made to accept option 1, presented by the World Bank, which consists of 50% trust fund loan and a 50% EIB loan to satisfy the US 100 million construction gap. I'm going to stop for a moment at the construction gap, because there seems to be a misunderstanding that the construction of PGIAE constantly changes when it comes to the amount. It is to be reminded to everybody that when we are going out and looking at construction costs, these are indicative terms, and that the true terms and the true amounts will only be known at the time when we go out to the actual bid and when the contractor actually returns with their offers. However, the $100 million gap that we have shown here is provided in a project cost worksheet, which I will hand out after this meeting, and has been accepted by the World Bank as has been accepted by the World Bank. Option 1 was also presented to the current bondholders, and they are awaiting a formal reaction, or were awaiting a formal reaction from the steering committee, which took place on November 5th, as to what that decision would have been. The current bondholders have also expressed their concern on how PJIAE is going to manage its current liquidity issues regarding a shortfall of $2 million a month, which Minister Johnson alluded to in his opening statements. The current bondholders have indicated very clearly that the $54.1 million US dollars held in a hurricane account called Hurricane 2017 cannot be used towards operating expenses and can only be used for the reconstruction and rebuilding of the terminal. Given the above, the current bondholders have executed a third limited waiver ending on February 1st, 2019, in order to give PGIAE the time to find either World Bank EIB funding or seek alternative funding, which is what we are currently doing.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
And I would like to know what is the procedure on using the projectors in Parliament. I believe that as a member of Parliament, I should be able to and have permission to use a projector when I want to explain certain things and make certain things more easier for the public to understand. And I don't believe that I have to ask permission from another MP to use the projector. We all are 15 elected MPs in here, and I think that it's kind of ridiculous now on the way certain procedures are being handled here in Parliament. And I would like an update as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Irion. You realize that these points that you've made are not really notifications, but are actually points of questions that
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, MP Irion.
I would also like to notify you that the chair also, during my meeting, already established the fact that there's no real, how to say this, protocol when it comes to points of notification. So, in fact, based on what she said, you are then basically wrong. So, just want another update to you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You can have as many updates as you want, but I am chair of the meeting now. So there are different chairs, different rules as well. MP Emmanuel.
Mr. Chairman, my colleague, the Honourable Member, Mr. Artwell, raised a point earlier concerning the projection and the use of it. And in my remembering, before, I used the projection on many occasions without having to ask permission to use it. And you went on, Mr. Chairman, to say that's a different chair in terms of what is being used in notification. But since I'm raising a point of order, but you didn't answer the Honourable Member in terms of what is the use for one Member of Parliament being able to use